Welcome to another episode of the Southern Boating and Yachting Podcast. I'm Ian Sneed.
I'm James Anderson.
And today we're going to bring an episode to you talking about VHF radios.
This is highlighting a safety feature, paramount in every situation.
And this is one of the most important pieces of equipment that you have on your boat.
So we're going to be referencing an article out of the January issue titled Mastering the Marine Radio.
And this was written by one of our, I like to call him a resident expert, but one of our marine experts, Captain Chris Caldwell.
Captain Chris is a great resource for a lot of different things. Boy, he is a wealth of knowledge.
And this is including, like, he can help you identify how to, if you're in the market for a new vessel, if you're buying a used vessel, if you want to do maintenance yourself instead of always sending it to a yard. Captain Chris is quite literally a wealth of knowledge. So we're happy to share this information that he put together for us. To kick it off, we're going to talk about a device that everyone's familiar with, a cell phone. Cell phones, he gave some great information on here because I did not know that this was the terminology for it. It's a duplex device where you can have two people talking at the same time and they can both hear each other. Whereas VHF radios are a simplex device. It's a single person talking at a time. If another person goes to talk when one person's talking, it won't go through. And this is why they have what's called a push to talk button. Because if you want to talk, you have to push the button. You have to push to talk. It makes sense. It's a great name.
That's exactly right. And getting into this, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the use of that and some of the words that you might be utilizing, terms that you could be saying, like using the word over. Okay, I'm done saying what I need to do. I finish with over. Right. So now somebody else knows, hey, okay, he's done. Now I can respond.
Which is extremely important given that only one person can talk at a time. And understanding that this is the process, when both parties understand that, it makes it much easier and much faster communication. Instead of sitting there waiting, thinking, is he thinking about what he's going to say next? Or can I talk now? With that in mind, we're going to cover some channels. I think important channels that you should know. The first one is channel 16. Now, channel 16 is a hailing and distress channel only. So you want to keep it clear of anything that is not hailing or distress. The cool thing about these VHF radios is there's a channel 16 button so that you can stay on channel 16. And let's say you're talking to a harbor master and he says, okay, move to this channel. And then you can actually have the conversation on that other channel. When you're on that other channel, you want to go back when you're done talking to channel 16. So there's a button that takes you right back to channel 16. And this button actually has a feature where if you're talking to, you need their attention again to add information, and they say, okay, go back to that channel, you just press channel 16 button again, and it takes you back to your most recent channel. It's a really important feature because it makes communication with something, if it's a high traffic area, let's say there's also commercial traffic, or there's, say, a lot of police nearby, or there's whatever it is, it's a busy day because of a recreational holiday or something. You need to be able to switch back and forth easily without having to search and take your eyes off the water. Like, there's a lot of things where that one button can be extremely beneficial to you. Channel 9 is commonly used to hail a bridge when you need an opening.
And I think the important thing to note, so 9 could be basically what we call a standard, but as you're approaching a bridge, look for blue signs that may have a radio channel on it. The bridge tender may be listening to a different channel or monitoring a different channel, but they'll notify that in a nice little blue sign on a piling somewhere.
So it's usually channel 9, sometimes it's channel 13, and then the tip that James just gave is great. Now, if you're ever on the radio with the Coast Guard, they may ask you to switch over to channel 22 alpha. Newer radios, you can actually find 22 alpha.
They'll have the presets, for the 10 channels.
But if for some reason you don't, then the channel would be 1022. That's important to know because it's based off of your equipment, the actual hardware in front of you, that one may be able to do 22 alpha, the other one may not. So what do you do? Channel 1022.
And this is an important fact to know. It's just, if your radio is slightly different than everybody else's or different than you've used, open the owner's manual. Make yourself familiar with the radio. Make yourself, if you're the captain, boat owner, whatever you want to call yourself, make yourself extremely familiar with it.
Yeah.
Right? Know how to utilize it, because in an emergency, you don't want to be looking up how to utilize something.
Captain Chris goes into a few details about how to converse when you're first starting a conversation.
So standard technique, right? If you're going to hail the harbor master, you're going to repeat the harbor's name 3 times, your vessel name, over, and then wait for a response. They're
Right.
going to call you and say, move to such channel, at which point in time you can move to the channel. Again, Harbor Town, this is so-so,
Right.
there you go.
Oh, yeah.
And then you can have that conversation on that channel, and you're not interrupting anybody else's, that channel 16 or whatever.
Or whatever channel that you use to communicate with them. Knowing the phonetic alphabet also helps.
That's a huge one, right? I mean, and you can learn that in less than a day, right? Just make yourself familiar with it, because if you're going to have to communicate with the Coast Guard, guess what?
Yeah, if they need to abbreviate, if they need to use letters, that's what they're going to do, is the phonetic alphabet. Another thing to pay attention to is how things are said. Securite, for example, 3 times, is a broadcasting an alert where there's not an immediate danger. So saying that 3 times. Pon called 3 times to indicate an urgent but not life-threatening situation.
Right.
And then you have Mayday, which again you repeat 3 times, and that is a life-threatening situation. So urgent and life-threatening.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the 3 levels of the distress signals that you would use.
Yep. So pan, 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 and your short message.
Right.
And that's it.
And then Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. And then Securite, Securite, Securite. 3 levels. And the thing is, this is stuff that you kind of want to refresh, because the truth is, you may not remember some of this in the moment. Right. This is the reason athletes train, or at least very much attempt to train harder than the game, so that in the game, it's muscle memory.
Correct.
And so if you need this information, chances are you're in a situation that requires immediate action, immediate response. And you don't want to be somebody that panics in that situation. You want to be somebody that knows what you're doing, knows what to say, knows how to communicate. So it's important to know this information.
Absolutely. I think the easiest way to really learn a lot of times is to sit and listen.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And Captain Chris brings that up in here. And that's exactly how I basically learned, is sit, listen to the radio, listen to people conversing. And then you will have from that very good knowledge of how to utilize your radio. But also, you should always have your radio on channel 16 and be listening, because you never know when you're going to be the closest person to offer somebody help.
Right.
Right. And it doesn't matter who they are, what they are, where they are. But if you can get to them, you try and help them. You do everything you can to help your fellow boater. So that's it for this one. I think this is really important. Again, if you have more questions, check out Captain Chris's website. He's got a lot of resources that can help you. You can find this article in the January issue, starting on page 68. But until next time, I'm James Anderson.
I mean, it's neat.
We'll see you next week.